Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode on Chat with Rutherford. I know you can see I'm smiling big, big, big. Yes, that's because we are having our very, very first guest on this channel. I have a very interesting topic for you: long distance marriage. Remember in previous video, I talked about long distance relationship and I laid emphasis on people that are dating, that they are miles apart, they are not together in the same space. This could be because of immigration related issues or job. So some people reached out to me, in private. Okay, there are some people that are actually married, but they are not together, still, the same reason. And I have my friend, my special friend, my very good friend here. She is in a long distance marriage and she's going to tell us about that journey, how it's going, the challenges, and yeah, I hope you learn something at the end of the day. So please make welcome my wonderful guest, my beautiful guest, the one and only. Her profile is choke, so I will allow her to, introduce herself. Tolu Eze.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for
Yeah,
inviting me
thank you
here.
very much.
And as Ruth said, my name is Tolu Eze. Still trying to get used to it. So, but it's Tolu
I
And I'm a program coordinator. I work in healthcare, and one of my numerous hobbies is makeup. So I have a makeup business, and I love to cook too. So yeah, those are the
I
things.
can testify to that. She's a very, very good cook.
Yes, that's why I'm an evil wife, because I can cook well.
Yeah, thank you once again for honoring this invitation. Yeah, so we are talking about long distance marriage. Okay, let's go back, a little bit. Let's do the romantic part first. How did you and your husband meet? Like, was it through a friend or at the restaurant, at the airport, or is there any cinematic
love story? So I met my husband through a friend.
Not together.
So I had known this friend for maybe a couple of months. She's an older friend. So she told me about this guy that she worked with in Nigeria. And I was like, I personally, because I did not believe in long distance, anything, dating, marriage. So I was like, I'm not even in for that. But then she just kept like, just meet him. If you do not like him, that's fine. And then I saw his picture. I was like, this one looks like a Lagos boy. I'm not doing it. But then she just speak to him and have that conversation. That was in December of 2022. And then we got talking and then after some months, I think in March, he told me he wanted us to go on a vacation. I was like, in my head, I was like, romantic vacation. I was like, where do I want to go to? So we planned the vacation, and that's one of the things we already had vibed, because I was so sure. Personally, I'm not one who believes in I might want to know you for like 1 year before I decide to even date you, and I wasn't under any pressure. But for some weird reason with him, everything just clicked. I knew that this was someone I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. But I was still having those little doubts of like, I don't know, maybe if I see him, I will not like him or something like that. So we planned the vacation, and I'm someone who, over the phone, I'm very chatty, but in person, I might just be quiet. So I was like, okay, depends on how I meet him at the airport. Maybe how is it going to be? So for our flight, we met in a particular airport, and I didn't see him. And then he just did that goofy thing. He just took a picture of my back because he was standing right behind me. And I just saw a picture. Then I looked back, and then I saw him, and it was almost like we knew each other again. I didn't feel that weird vibe I thought I was going to feel. And then that's when I was totally at peace. I totally just knew. And then he popped the question. Are you serious? Like right there? No. Like during the vacation, he popped the question, and then I said yes. And 4 months after that, we got married.
Wow.
Yes.
Like you both did not take long at all. So like how long did you both date before he popped the question? Before he popped, some people think that okay, you need to date maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years for that long or something.
I was of that school of thought too, but I just realized sometimes when you meet someone who ticks all your boxes, what you've always wanted, and you can see that with that person, it just becomes natural for you. Like, okay, this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. That's fine. And so we dated for January, February, March, April, May, 5 months. 5 months. He likes to say 5 months. That's when we dated for 5 months. But I actually tell him that we dated for 3 months because all those times he was doing lover boy, I was still thinking, do I want to? So we dated for 5 months before he popped the question, and then 5 months after, actually, yeah, we got married in October. Yeah.
Wow. I would say that was, a really romantic, intro of how you both met. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we're in the same category because it was through a friend also that, I met my husband. So now to the main.
Okay.
Did you know from the beginning that, it was going to be a long distance marriage? Probably you both were together back in Nigeria.
So first off, when I met my husband, I was here in Canada, and my
Okay.
husband was back home in Nigeria. So we
Mm,
already came to that conclusion that I was going to be here and he was going to be back home in
okay.
Nigeria for a while
All right.
before joining me.
Okay.
But then somehow we didn't get the full gist of how it was going to be in marriage. Like somehow it was going to be different than a relationship, certainly, like in certain ways. So like for my husband, while we were dating, lots of things come into play: work, time difference, and all that. And my husband, God bless his soul, he's very consistent with timing. I keep telling him if it was the other way around, I don't think this relationship would have lasted. So
I
he
know,
will lead
right?
up to marriage, yeah, because he was very consistent with like time zone, always calling me as soon as I close from work in the
Yeah, that,
morning
that
before I go
time
to
zone
work.
is it's very deep, right? Very,
Yeah.
very deep.
So we already knew that it was going to be a long distance marriage for a while before he would finally get to come here. So yeah, but my husband's like consistency played a huge role. I would not even take credit for any of it. He did
Mm,
most of the calling
wow.
and most of the intentionality on his end because he would barely get like 2 3 hours of sleep, and then he has like a full-time job that he works morning till almost 6 p.m.
Hmm.
every day. So yeah, we knew it was just going to be that way.
Long.
Yes.
So, and a little bit, you've prepared like mentally, emotionally, and all that, for this journey.
I wouldn't
You
say that
can't
I
be fully
wasn't prepared.
prepared, though, but
Yeah. Because in my head somehow I just thought, it was going to be like when we were like dating. But then I realized long distance dating and long distance relationship and sorry, long distance
right.
marriage are two different things
Yeah,
entirely.
very, very different.
It's different because there's this certain kind of connection that you then have with your husband and certain decisions that you like to make, certain life choices you like to make, and then when you're far away,
Mm-hmm.
it's puts like a pause or slows
Yeah.
down those moments, those things. There are things you want to do. I'm like, oh, my husband, and then like, oh, I'm alone
No.
now. So yeah.
So, what are some of the major challenges, that you've been going through? Let me put it that way, in this journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first off is the time difference. Plays a
Mm.
huge role. Like I can't overemphasize it. If you're dating someone in a different continent from you with like long time difference, it's not
Mm.
the 1 hour. You London, Nigeria people, this is not for you. 1 hour time difference, please don't play with me. So
Yeah.
but when you have like 6 hours, 7 hours time difference, that plays like a
It's a
huge role.
whole lot.
And then work schedule, like your work time and his work time, they're two different times. Sometimes you
Mm.
get to take your breaks, right? And sometimes you don't get to take your breaks at work because
Mm.
you have something doing and you see yourself not speaking almost throughout the
Mm.
whole day for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the things, and also emotions like loneliness. Let me use that
Mm.
word,
Mm.
loneliness.
Mm.
You having to miss your significant other all the time, certain things you want to do, certain events, for my husband, he's one of the very outgoing person,
Person.
always going out. But since he got married, he has just always been a
Mm.
homebody because
Mm.
he's always like, I can't go out because I'm a married man, and it just makes him feel sad when he sees other people with their wives, and then he's just there alone. So he prefers to just stay indoors,
Indoor.
and then that like builds loneliness for you. You need like a support system really when you're in long distance
Yes. Mhm.
marriage because you also need people to speak to and not
Yes.
just be withdrawn. Because sometimes it's a lot of emotional burden. Sometimes it might just be angry and just pissed for no reason at
Hmm.
that person. Not that you're angry at that person, but you're angry at the situation that
Hmm.
this long distance marriage has caused. Yes. So I think that is one, like I said, loneliness, like time difference
Hmm.
is one of those are the major challenges that we've had, yeah, as a couple.
Couple.
Yes.
Yeah, so coming to that loneliness, the emotional part, the feeling of loneliness and all that, how have you been able to, manage it like, this far?
Okay.
Because, compared to when you're just dating,
Mm-hmm.
there is really nothing much or the intimate parts or connection and all that. But now you are married, so there is difference. How have you been able to manage that? Because I know it's definitely not easy. You get to sleep alone, with your partner and all that. You understand? So how?
How have I been able to cope? That's a very good question, though. How have I been able to cope? Well, I think for myself and my husband, we've just been able to come up with lots of, I won't call it coping mechanism, but lots of things that bring us together. We
Mm.
have game nights, movie nights, things
Nice.
like that. Sometimes we have Q&A sessions. Sometimes we do evaluations. Let's evaluate our marriage. And sometimes it's just so funny, but funny things to just make us happy. We just laugh it off that we don't even realize, okay, this is what is happening. Sometimes
Yeah.
we go online and read people's stories
Mm.
on social media, and then we come back to analyze it, and we do like
I,
a
I,
talk
I,
show.
did, I did I did the same stuff when I was dating my husband too, like just because in that previous episode I talked about communicating your thoughts, your experiences, your feelings. So I went out, I experienced one thing or the other, and I was just like, okay babe, what do you think about this and this happened, what do you think
Yes.
about it? So
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And sometimes too, well, most times now what we do is that we keep writing down activities, things that we want to do when
Mm.
we're finally together.
Okay.
So we're planning all those things. Oh, what do you want to do for date night? I think right now we have
Wow.
plans for date night for the next like 20 weeks. Every
What?
week, because we have ideas for everything that we want to do. I'm like, okay, we can do this, and sometimes that way it keeps like the love going, and also
Mm.
like gives you something to look forward to, because
Mm.
in that loneliness you have to have that place of, I'm going to be with my spouse soon,
Soon, right?
so this is just a phase. Like, keep reminding yourself this is just a phase. And then also always pray together. People, I
Very
can, yeah, it's
important.
very important
I
to always
mentioned
just
God
pray
as well,
yeah,
honestly. It's
pray
not your
together.
physical strength alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because sometimes temptations will come everywhere, like from him, and then that's also where the place of trust is. I
Hmm.
have that complete trust in my husband that I'm not even going to be bothered by, oh, maybe we go out and then there's somebody. That doesn't occur to me at all, because there's that place of trust. Even in my loneliness, I do not allow that loneliness to take a hold of my mind and begin to wonder, oh, if he's lonely too, what is he doing? Or him to wonder, oh, if she's lonely too, what is she doing? So yeah, those are the things that we do to, you know,
I like
keep
I
it
like
going.
I like that because some people might not know what to do, how to keep the romance alive. But it's really interesting that you both have a lot of things to do because still enjoy the moment, even
Mm-hmm.
as you both are not together physically. Still enjoy the moment, create memories. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's more like the word. Create memories. Have a movie night, game nights, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. So, how important would you say trust is in long distance marriage? I know I mentioned it that
Mm-hmm.
trust generally is important in
Yes.
relationship generally. Let's say you both are together at the same
Mm-hmm.
space and or if it's a long distance relationship or long distance marriage, how important can you expatiate on that? How important trust
Trust
is?
is
Yeah.
okay. So trust comes in so many areas. I know when people hear trust, most times they just think about, oh, so that he's not cheating on me, or she's not cheating on me. That's not it. So for trust, apart from you trusting your spouse not to cheat on you, that's important. You're
Okay.
also trusting your spouse that in whatever he's doing, anything he's doing, he's putting your marriage first in any decision that he makes. He's putting
Very
your
true.
marriage first in everything that he does. Is also prioritizing you, because there is one thing for you to be doing everything for both of you to be together, and the other person is doing everything to maybe
Yeah.
get something else and is not prioritizing you. But I have that trust. Like, my husband says, oh, this is what he's doing, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you're doing. And my husband is one for communication. He loves to text. He will give like a rundown of it's a whole day. This is what I'm doing. This is at this time. If you call me and I'm not able to pick, maybe I'm having a talk show or something like that. That's just the way my husband is, and he has really taught me a lot because he loves that line of me. I just feel if I tell you over the phone, that's okay. But my husband prefers to you to just type it, just in case you get to not speak. That still plays a role. Like he still has an idea of okay, this is what is going on throughout your day. So yeah, like that's it.
That's very true. Honestly, you are really saying a whole lot of things because some of the things you said is what I did too, when I was dating my husband, like communicate. My husband is that kind of person to like, let me just know what works for A, might not work for B.
Yes.
But this is just way saying, some things that is working for us. Like me now that I'm, with my husband, like some things that worked for me, during the time we are dating, and some things actually that are working for you now that,
Yes.
you're in a long distance relationship. Communication is very important. Trust is very important. Let your husband know that okay, this is where I'll be, this is what I want to do. Just carry him along. For instance, now talking about communication now, I'm sure you guys must have discussed about like
Of
this
course.
this is what we're talking. Just carry each other along because this is the person you are doing life with, that you're
Yes.
spending forever with. One very common thing that happens a lot with relationships generally is arguments, because it's more like two different people are coming together. So how have you been managing disagreement? Has there been any major major one? Because if you guys are together physically, you can just back each other, go to one room. At least you're seeing each other. You're seeing the facial expressions and all that. But this one you can just do silent treatment that, well, I'm not picking the call, I'm not calling,
I'm
or
not
something like
doing
that.
this.
So
Well, for arguments, one thing that we discussed right from the beginning of our relationship was that even if one person is upset, we try to go to bed. It might not be a perfect mood, but we don't go to bed angry with each other, and that has really helped us a lot, because there are times I might be upset with my husband or we talk about something, and I mean very recently, very recently, I will not tell you when, but very recently we still had like an argument about something, and I was so upset, and my husband has that philosophy, let's sleep on it, like he will talk about it that day just so you can sleep well, but the main meat of it, he will say let's sleep and wake up,
go,
everybody will be
yeah,
okay.
calm,
Me,
right?
I don't want that. I want, if you don't say it that night or that particular day to the next day, it's like yeah, adding fire to it, because by the next day, that's when me too, I'll be angry.
Are
But
serious?
one
Okay.
thing we always do is that we always speak. Even if I'm angry with him, we'll still always speak each other's calls, still call each other sweet names. Even though we are angry, just that the conversation might not flow till he now says,
I totally understand.
yes, till he now says, okay,
Mm.
you want us to talk about it? I'll say yes. And then he will now speak about it. But that has really helped. So we don't have those moments when I'm not picking your call, you're not picking. We don't. We've tried our best. God has really helped us. We've not had any argument that has made us to say I'm not going to pick this person's call, because honestly, it just adds fire to things
Yes,
for me.
yes, yes.
So that's how we handle arguments. We make sure we talk about it. My husband will talk about it. I'll talk about it. We'll bring action points. What this person has to do better to, so that
Yeah.
maybe I don't feel this way, and then I'll tell him this is what you can also do better. So he not say, okay, are we done? Yes. Okay. Are you fine? I said, okay. That's all he wants. So my husband just hates
That's good.
arguments most times, so he tries to avoid it, and avoiding it sometimes annoys me. But now he's at that point where okay, let's talk about it, and we talk about it. Like I said, action points, and moving on. Everybody laughs. We're happy. I'm back to my
I mean,
playful self.
peace to reign. So
Yes.
that means no arguments that lasted for like let's say 2 days.
No, see that even if we argue or we disagree about something, we will still speak. It's just that you self, your
The
body,
flow.
like, hi, how are you? I'm fine. How was work? Work was good. There's no, do you know what happened in the office today? Kind of gist again, no gist for you. Let everybody just bear their, you can't bear your father's name, but now everybody just bear their name there, sort of thing. So we just happen to just always talk about the argument whenever we have an argument. Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say you trust your husband like to the fullest? Like
Oh
Trust.
yes.
Very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
What about financial aspects? How do you guys, how do you both make important decisions?
Financial
Yeah,
decision.
financial decisions all around generally, because that can be very difficult. You just be like, okay, what's the need, or
Of telling
no,
you,
no need for too much details or whatever.
right?
The person is not
Not
here,
even here.
so just go ahead and do you, do me.
So like prior before we got married, we had this discussion because I was like, I know for a couple of months we are not going to be together, but I need to know. To be honest, he has been doing a good job. I won't say so, so because I don't want him to do all this my little spend. You just like, "Ah, she spent this amount on XYZ." None of those kind of conversations, but
Mm,
he's always very like forthcoming with telling me, okay, babe, I had this to do this month, and I was able to save XYZ. And I
amazing.
also try my best to also, because sometimes I will forget, even though I'm the one that made up the rule. It's me that will still forget.
That's the thing. One person must be able to, balance.
Yes.
That's my what do they call it? Is it mantra? Some words you think you know
No,
it
it's
best.
about
Why? Because no, whatever the word is,
uh-huh.
I just tell my husband that when one person is weak, the other person shouldn't be. So
Yes.
yeah, so that's how it should be. So it's very good, even though you're the one that brought it up and you're
Yes.
not following.
I'm not
At least
following it.
he's there to be able to, take it up
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Very
And
good.
and even when I have to make like important like financial decisions, I I always like include my husband, even if
Sure.
more or less. I know some people have bias against this, that if they're sending money to their parents, their husband really or their spouse has nothing to do with it. But
Mm,
in in the spirit of transparency, if I have to send money to my family, I always inform my husband.
sure, sure,
That way
sure.
it doesn't make him see. I'm just saying because this is a piece of advice I learned from my mom. It
Mm,
doesn't make your husband argue with you. You don't argue about family finances because he knows, oh babe, I'm doing this because XY this happened, blah, blah, this is why I'm sending this amount. Sometimes little things like that causes rift in marriage, or even how your spouse tr- treats your family, because it feels like the wife or the other partner takes like their family above him. So we're
mm-hmm.
almost trying to say it's
There
my
should be
family.
balance
Yes, they are still my
generally.
family, but there's always should be that balance. So I try to inform my husband if I have to send money to my siblings, my husband, and now my husband is very open. He even sends money to my siblings without my consent. Why? Because we've gotten to that stage of like, oh, I sent XYZ, and I do the same sometimes for his own siblings too. So yeah.
Amazing,
Mm-hmm.
amazing, amazing. How important would you say self-control is in this situation now, this long distance marriage? Because
Mm-hmm.
definitely you've been intimate with your husband.
Yeah.
How are you managing those emotions, those feelings? What do you do?
When with most
Yeah, when that feeling and all comes in, because I know how difficult it can be very, very difficult.
of course you have like those moments when of like you feel like, I want to be with my husband, I want to be intimate with my husband,
Yeah, I just want to
but then I just
hug,
want
just
to
want to
hug, I just want this, I
cuddle.
just want, and husband said what I do is to call my husband and I tell him, and then when I'm done crying and do this thing, he will just say, okay, let me give you kisses all over your face, even though it's ick kisses. I said I don't want ick kisses, I
Hug
want
you.
physical. I want physical ones or things like that. But we found a way to always like talk about it. So if we're always having that, for lack of better word, sexual tension, which is not tension, but those we always talk about
About
it,
it.
and then we talk about what you like when I see you. I'll do okay, okay, okay. So we talk about,
Just build
yeah, we
everything.
build the romance, so it now makes you look
Mm-hmm,
forward to. Okay, I might not have it now, but when we see in camera,
hmm.
we're gonna do
Yeah,
this.
so it's not easy that
Yes,
you, just like I said, you can just enjoy the moment, still find things to do, create the moment. Don't
yes.
just feel like, okay, he's not here, so
Uh,
let me
let's
just be on my
not
own. I'm not doing
hand.
anything. Just just like the movie night, you
Yes,
understand? Have the day
let
for
the
movie.
person have what they are looking forward to, because
Yes.
honestly in long distance marriages after some time it now feels boring. If you're not careful, it gets to
Mm,
that point where it's, but how was your day? Fine, I was fine. Fine,
yeah.
there's nothing to really spice it
Spice
up again
spice
for
it
you.
up.
So you have to be intentional about spicing things up,
Mm-hmm.
or oh, tell me about, we just like couple things. We just look for those intimate things and talk about it. Also, what would you like me to XYZ, and then you just tell. So you have things that you're looking forward to in conversations like that. That way you just build. He's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Or oh, the first day you see me, but just things like that. Just spice it up for yourself. So that way you're like, okay, I'm just going to go strong. We're almost
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost there, right?
Yeah,
We're
almost
almost
there.
there. So finally, what advice do you have for people that, are in this kind of situation as
Mm-hmm.
well, in long distance relationship? What detail? Because even being in a long distance relationship, it's because of one reason or
Or
the
the
other.
other.
We're just trying to get greener pastures or something. Generally, I believe it's all for the good of the family.
Yes.
You understand? So, what advice do you give to people?
Okay.
That is similar thing.
Okay. So first off, if you are not, I'll start from those who are not or you're considering, make sure that you're ready for everything that comes with it. You're not going to be with that person for a certain number of time, and you have to come to that agreement with that person on certain things, that we're not going to be together, we're going to do this. Have that line of communication. In case the person or your other partner is not someone who communicates, you have to talk about it. Okay, now that you're not going to be here, how are we going to communicate? How are we going to do this?
Mm.
Things like that help to build consistency, because what keeps long distance marriage or relationship going is consistency. When you're both consistent in everything that you do, in your communication especially. Communication cannot be overemphasized for long distance
I tell you,
relationships or marriage. It
I
can be
tell you.
overemphasized in in everything you do. You have to communicate. When you're angry, please communicate. Giving silent treatment sometimes, most times, it doesn't help. Talk about it. If someone is doing something you do not like, speak about it. If you feel ignored, those times when you feel like you're not having their attention, speak about it, and then allow your partner to talk about it. Oh, I'm so sorry. This was what happened. Because when you come, and you also, if you are the one that always complaining about, try to always put your partner too in the know that, oh, you might not be able to get me at X time to X time, or I have this project I'm working on that might take like so much of my time or my mind, of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And also learn to text each other during the day, those random, see, part of communication, those random
Mm-hmm.
texts or random pictures, random videos. Some of you, everything is just too straightforward that even you say if you're already tired of the long distance marriage, learn to spice things up. Talk about your plans. Always talk about your plans of what you're going to do when you see each other. If you're in a new apartment, do the furniture shopping together. This is the bed we'll
Mm.
have together. Send it to your spouse.
Not act like you're
Don't
alone.
exactly. Don't be living your life like
Yeah.
you're alone. We are going
Mm.
shopping. Oh, what are we going to eat? Sometimes I play this thing with my husband, like, honey, what would you like to have for dinner? No, but he'll say, I feel like he has cooked the food already. I'm like, I feel like having this. Like, okay, let
Mm.
me get it for you. And then he will bring his food and he'll be eating his food.
Mm.
Just a way to just build that. He said, because very soon you're going to be saying, baby, what do you want to have for dinner?
Mm.
So always build moments. Don't dwell, like I said in the beginning, don't dwell in that hopelessness of it's a long distance marriage, long distance relationship,
Mm.
but look forward to the future. Make your plans. Oh, how many kids we want to have? Do we want to do this? Or our investments? Plan your life like you're actually married, because you are actually married
Right,
or you're
yeah.
actually in a relationship. That way it's going to work. Thank you, Roots.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so, so much. Like, thank you so much for, deciding to share this with us. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to your husband. At least he'll come and grace my green chair
Yes,
to,
yes, yes, yes.
tell his own
He's
side,
looking forward to
and
that.
all that. Thank you so much. I hope you all have learned one thing or the other. If you are in a long distance marriage, you can put in the comment section. Just tell us what you are going through, the challenges, and if you have one or two tips, that can be helpful as well. Just put it there. Or if you know someone as well in similar situation, share this video with them. Yeah, I look forward to your comments and all that. Remember, like I always say, learning is a continuous process. So all this is for us to just learn, and see how we can be better, how we can impact in each other's life and all. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, leave a comment. I love you all till I come your way again. It's your girl, Rutherford. See you in the next episode. Bye. Welcome to Chat with Ruth of Ford. Hello, I'm not alone. You were testing out. Let me see.